Hey, how's it going, guys? Just about to put an Urbino stock on my Mossberg 930 SPX. So, yeah, I just kind of want to go over the old stock before I put on the new stock. I'm about to put on a Mesa Tactical Urbino stock. I think it costs about $160 on the Mesa Tactical website. I put in $870 as a coupon code and saved 15%, so that was cool too. Shipping was free. About to put it on. I just want to show you guys the old stock beforehand and why I'm changing it out. First off, that is the ugliest stock I've ever seen in my life. I love this gun. It is a great autoloader shotgun. It is very inexpensive compared to other autoloaders. I mean, I'm pretty sure the M4 costs about $1,800 to $2,200 and has a mag capacity of 4. This thing has mag capacity of 7 plus 1, so it can hold 8, plus you can ghost load one, if you know what that is, to make it total capacity of 9 if you really wanted to. But yeah, I mean, look at that. It's a beautiful gun from top to the receiver, but after that, it just gets kind of funky looking. I honestly wish I kind of got the rifle grip, because that actually looks better. First off, if you see here, there's an angle right here. For some reason, like, there's this huge change of angle. It looks weird. This part's way too thin, and it makes it look awkward. Then on top of that, the bottom of the buttstock has like one line here, one line here, one line here. It's just way too many lines. There's this obvious spacer right here, and it doesn't even line up right. You can actually feel the edge right there, so that definitely doesn't. You can see the lifted edge slightly right there. It's just so ugly, and you can't even take that spacer out, I'm pretty sure. The grip itself looks cheap and terrible. Polymer is not that great. As you can tell, it doesn't line up with the trigger right. It just doesn't line up. There's a big gap right there. I mean, you can see this. Oop, it's coming off. Yeah, these finger grooves, they're just ugly as all hell. It just looks like cheap plastic, and it's just ugly as all hell. Sorry if it's coming off. I've already taken the back screws out, so yeah, just pop it off. But yeah, I don't know. Not a big fan of the original buttstock, so I've decided to swap it out for the Urbino, and I will be showing you guys what it looks like as soon as I get it installed. Alright, before I get that Urbino stock from Mesa Tactical all installed, I figured I'd show it side by side with the original stock, show you the differences. Okay, so this is the new Urbino stock. That is the original stock. As you can see, the Urbino stock looks much better, much cleaner. I mean, these lines are just, the bottom, it's just one solid line. It doesn't have these 3 separate different lines, not goofy and thin right here, and way too thick back here. It's just, better proportions. This grip is fully rubberized. I mean, it's got a real good texture to it. I mean, it's got this nice rubber that goes all the way up to here, contours the whole grip, and as you can see here, this actually hugs the trigger guard, as I'll show you when it's on the gun. And this one, as I showed you earlier, there's a nice fat gap. So what you get with this thing is you get the stock, and this specific one I got with the cheek riser, and I did not get the limb saver. One of the reasons I did not get the limb saver is so that I could shorten the length of the pull, because this one is a little too long actually. But what I didn't realize is, get this lined up. So you see that's lined up pretty well. That is noticeably shorter, so I'm going to have a much shorter length of pull. So even if I had gotten the limb saver, which probably would have come out to about here, I still would have gotten a shorter length of pull with the limb saver. So that's something to take note of. And like I said, the limb saver is an option, but I like this. This is nice and rubberized, and honestly I think this looks a little bit better. And then there's also the cheek riser, which is an option I got. And the limb saver and the cheek riser are both extra options that cost a little extra, so there's that. But here's everything that comes with it. You get the return spring tube, another return spring that's most likely shorter than the original because the return spring tube is also a little bit shorter, seeing as the stock is also a little bit shorter. You get a bunch of sling keys that, as you can see right here, go right in between the buttstock and the receiver. Fully reversible, so you can just pop this out, reverse it, put it on the other side. So it's got multiple different ones. These are for webbing, one-sided webbing, two-sided webbing. There's also a one-sided sling loop, and then there's the blank. And another thing that it's supposed to come with, which mine did not for some reason, it's supposed to come with one of these two-sided webbing that's supposed to slip in here. This one does not fit, and it's not supposed to look like this. It's supposed to be more squared off with like a smaller hole in it. And mine didn't come with that, but I'm just going to call Mesa Tactical tomorrow and they'll probably send me one out. What else it comes with? Comes with a washer, the nut for the back of the tube, an Allen key. This is something I didn't know it came with, which is nice. It's another sling loop that attaches directly to the back of the stock. And of course, this is the key to get the original tube off and to get the new tube on. So yeah, and there's the finished product. Got the Mesa Tactical buttstock all installed and ready to go. Just in case you're wondering if you guys were going to get this and wanted to install it, they do have a YouTube video up, so all you have to do is search for 930 Mesa Tactical Urbino Stock and the instructional video should pop right up. Fairly easy to install. You do need a bench vise, and unfortunately I do have a shot shell holder on the other side of this rifle, or on the other side of the shotgun, so I don't have a lot of real estate for a bench vise to go. So I did have a little bit of an issue there because I couldn't really get that vise around the receiver, and eventually when I was trying to get that recoil spring tube off, which took quite an amount of torque to get off, the shotgun actually popped out of the bench vise there, and as you can see, landed right on my rear sight, so that kind of sucks. So I'm just going to give Mossberg a call tomorrow, see if I can get a replacement there after I call Mesa Tactical and see if they can get me that sling attachment. But yeah, obviously it looks so much better than the original, which makes no sense. I'm not sure why Mossberg pumps out those the 930s with such an ugly buttstock, such an ill-fitting buttstock. But I mean, look at that. There's absolutely no gap in between the trigger guard and the grip. And the lines, I mean, the lines of the stock just follow the lines of the gun, unlike the original. And I mean, it's got such a nice grip. The rubberized texture is so much better than the original, and doesn't have the awkward finger grooves, and it's not ugly in any way, shape, or form like the original. The texturing is awesome. The grip feels great in your hand. Yeah, don't really have too many complaints. I do have one complaint, and that is the weight. I did weigh them both out, and this one does weigh about 7 ounces more. I think 7.5 actually, more than the original, and extra weight's always bad, so that sucks. But I mean, it looks so much better that I'm not too worried about that at all. One thing I am worried about is the fact that I did have to replace the recoil spring and the recoil tube. So since the recoil spring is new, it might need breaking in again, which these Mossberg 930s do require a little bit of break-in. So, I mean, you can take one of these home and run high brass through it all day long. It will cycle perfectly. But the thing is, when it comes to low brass, you need to break in that recoil spring, otherwise it won't cycle consistently. Like, it'll short stroke and it won't eject the shell, and it won't chamber a new round. So that may be an issue again, but I'm sure if it is an issue, all I have to do is just keep shooting until that recoil spring kind of breaks in, and after that, doesn't have a problem. Like with this one, all I had to do, with the original stock, all I had to do was shoot like 25-50 rounds, and then it was cycling reliably. So, I mean, it was a short break-in period, but oh yeah, and it was like 25-50 rounds of birdshot too, with maybe 10 slugs through it. But yeah, I don't know. There it is. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys got any other questions or comments, go ahead and post below. We'll get to them as soon as possible. Besides that, thanks for watching, guys.